Picture this. You are sitting in your car outside a small clinic. The air feels heavy. The silence around you hums like electricity. Your hands are trembling. Your heart beats so hard it feels like it will break through your ribs. In your lap, a paper rests quietly. The words printed on it glow under the faint light from the dashboard. HIV positive. The letters look alive as if mocking you. You blink again and again, but they do not change. A cold wave passes through your body. The world outside the window becomes blurry. Every sound fades. You feel small, powerless. Your mind races through every memory, every decision, every person you have ever met. Fear swallows you whole. You drive home without knowing how. Your body moves, but your mind stays frozen. That night, you cannot sleep. Every breath feels borrowed. You imagine faces of people you love. You think of the future you planned, now erased by one word on paper. You think of what you will tell your parents, your friends, your partner. The hours crawl by and every sound feels like a countdown to something ending. But 2 days later, another test comes. Negative, no infection, no disease, just a mistake. Relief and anger crash together inside you. You cry, you laugh, you collapse. How can a mistake decide life or death? What if that mistake came not from a small lab, but from a billion-dollar company trusted by millions? A company that promised to revolutionize medicine, to end pain and fear. A company that said one drop of blood could reveal every secret hidden inside the body. No hospitals, no waiting, no suffering. The future, they said, but behind that dream hid the biggest lie Silicon Valley ever told. The origin. Elizabeth Holmes was born in Washington, D.C. in 1984. Her father worked for government agencies like USAID, and her mother was a congressional committee staffer. Her childhood was filled with talk of purpose and legacy. At 9, she wrote that she wanted to build something that would change the world. She admired power not for wealth but for control. She studied how leaders spoke and how they were remembered. In school, she was quiet but driven. She taught herself Mandarin and read science books late into the night. She idolized inventors who defied limits. She wanted to be more than smart. She wanted to be unstoppable. By high school, she was different, focused, determined. Her friends described her as intense, always thinking, always planning. She rarely laughed. She applied to Stanford and joined the chemical engineering program, where she quickly stood out as ambitious beyond her years. She met Professor Phyllis Gardner and pitched an idea for a medical patch that could detect infections and deliver drugs instantly. Gardner said it could not work with current science, but Elizabeth believed limits existed only for those who accepted them. She spoke with conviction that made others pause. She wore black turtlenecks. She practiced her voice to sound deeper, more confident. She lowered her pitch deliberately to sound older and more authoritative. She studied every move of Steve Jobs, copying his style of control, silence, and intensity. She wanted to be remembered like him. In 2003, she dropped out of Stanford and used her tuition money to found a company. She called it Theranos. Therapy plus diagnosis. She said it would change the world of medicine forever. The idea was intoxicating. Imagine a world where a single drop of blood could reveal everything. No hospitals. No fear of needles. Fast, cheap, accurate. It was hope in a box. She promised to make healthcare personal and instant. Investors listened. She was young, brilliant, and spoke like a visionary. She built a team of scientists, engineers, and marketers who believed they were saving lives. They worked day and night in secrecy, building prototypes and writing algorithms. But behind the closed doors, things were falling apart. The devices leaked. The chemistry failed. Results were inconsistent. Scientists warned her that blood volume from a finger prick was too small for hundreds of tests. She ignored them. She believed if she willed it hard enough, the science would follow. Failure was not allowed. Doubt was forbidden. She demanded loyalty and belief above all else. She inspired through fear and worship. Employees felt like they were part of a mission that could change the world, yet trapped in a place where truth was dangerous. The believers. In Silicon Valley, belief is a currency. The line between truth and dream is blurred by ambition. Founders sell visions, not products. Investors buy emotions, not evidence. Elizabeth mastered that system. She did not need working machines. She needed believers. She surrounded herself with powerful names. George Shultz, Henry Kissinger, James Mattis. None of them scientists, but all legends of power and influence. Their presence gave Theranos legitimacy. To the public, it looked like the safest bet in the world. Money began to flood in. Rupert Murdoch invested $125 million. The Walton family heirs of Walmart followed. The DeVos family put in another $100 million. Big venture funds joined the race, afraid of missing out. Theranos raised more than $700 million. Walgreens signed a deal to install blood testing devices in their stores. Safeway spent hundreds of millions building clinics ready for Theranos technology. The media went wild. Fortune called her the next Steve Jobs. Forbes named her the youngest self-made female billionaire. Time magazine put her on their list of the most influential people on Earth. She gave interviews, speaking softly about saving lives and democratizing healthcare. She wore her black turtleneck like armor. She walked like certainty itself. Every word she spoke sounded rehearsed yet hypnotic. She made people feel they were part of something bigger. That belief turned into blindness. Few checked the science. Few wanted to. The story was too good to ruin with questions. She was the American dream personified, a young woman changing the world through technology. To doubt her felt like doubting hope itself. Inside the lie behind the bright stage lights, Theranos was a fortress of fear. The company operated like a secret agency. Employees were divided into departments that never spoke to each other. Engineers built machines they could not test. Scientists processed samples without knowing what technology powered them. Security guards followed people through hallways. Cameras recorded every move. Emails were monitored. Anyone who raised doubts was isolated or fired. The Edison machine, the heart of Theranos, was a gray box filled with wires, tubes, and hope. It was supposed to run hundreds of tests on a single drop of blood. In reality, it could barely handle a few. Blood samples clotted. Results changed by the minute. One test would say a patient was healthy, another would call them terminal. It was chaos hidden behind confidence. Elizabeth refused to slow down. She told her team to keep pushing. When results failed, she blamed human error. When investors asked for proof, she gave them staged demos. Patients' blood samples were secretly run on commercial analyzers hidden in the back room. Reports were printed with Theranos logos, making it look like their own invention. Engineers begged for time to fix problems, but she refused. She believed exposure would kill the dream before success could be achieved. To her, image was more important than truth. She told her employees that the world never rewards hesitation. That history remembers those who dare. Her charisma made people question their own logic. Fear became the company culture. Employees signed strict agreements forbidding them from speaking about their work. Some were followed after quitting. Others were sued for revealing what they had seen. Many left in silence, carrying the weight of guilt and shame. Among them, a young engineer named Tyler Schultz noticed how wrong everything was. He tried to warn his grandfather, George Schultz, who sat on the board, but George refused to believe him. Elizabeth had charmed him completely. Tyler left but carried the guilt with him every day. The whistleblowers. Tyler was not alone. Another former employee named Erica Chung saw the lies unfold in front of her. Machines breaking during demos, data being changed before meetings, patients receiving wrong results while executives celebrated. Erica felt sick watching it. She knew people could die because of these lies. She contacted Tyler, and together they decided to speak up. They reached out to John Carreyrou, an investigative journalist at the Wall Street Journal. He began his quiet investigation. Dozens of employees secretly told him what they had seen. Threats, lawsuits, and fear were everywhere. People whispered in parking lots. Phones were left outside rooms during meetings. It was a battle between truth and silence. In October 2015, the truth came out. The Wall Street Journal published Carreyrou's article. It was explosive. The tests did not work. The machines were fake. The dream was a lie. The public was shocked. Elizabeth denied everything. She appeared on television smiling calm and confident. She said the journal wanted to destroy innovation. She promised the truth would come out. But the truth already had. Walgreens stopped operations. Regulators launched investigations. Patients began suing for damages. The company started to crumble. By 2016, most employees were gone. The once crowded offices turned silent. Computers wiped. Labs emptied. In 2018, Theranos officially dissolved. Billions vanished. Dreams vanished. What was left was only a ghost of ambition. The fall. The fall was brutal. The same media that once worshipped her now tore her apart with relentless scrutiny. Magazine covers that had once hailed her as the next visionary now questioned her morality, her intelligence, her very existence. Investors demanded answers that she could no longer provide. The FBI descended, meticulously collecting documents, emails, and internal communications. Prosecutors pieced together a story of years of deception, of a carefully constructed illusion that had fooled some of the smartest and richest people in the world. In 2021, the trial began. Inside the courtroom, Elizabeth sat expressionless, wearing a beige suit that seemed to absorb rather than command attention. Gone was the black turtleneck, the symbol of quiet confidence and ambition. Gone was the voice that had once captivated Silicon Valley boardrooms, a voice that made impossible ideas seem inevitable. Now she was quiet, withdrawn. The prosecutors methodically laid out the evidence. Emails between her and Ramesh Sunny Balwani, her business partner and secret lover, were read aloud. Every carefully drafted statement, every manipulated report, every falsified number was examined. Witnesses testified with trembling voices. Scientists recounted sleepless nights and ignored warnings, tears glistening as they recalled the fear that had held them back. Patients spoke of lives derailed, of hope turned to despair by false results that had been trusted as truth. The courtroom was thick with disbelief. How could so many brilliant people fall for a dream so hollow? How could an empire built on lies rise so high? The jury listened for months, each revelation peeling away another layer of illusion, leaving only the raw, uncomfortable truth beneath. Finally, in January 2022, the verdict was delivered. Guilty, 4 counts of fraud and conspiracy. The sentence was 11 years in federal prison. By May 2023, Elizabeth Holmes became inmate number 24975, entering a world of confinement far removed from the power and adoration she had once known. Her company was dissolved, her reputation destroyed. The girl who had once dreamed of saving lives now lived behind walls, locked away from the world she had tried and failed to change. In Silicon Valley, belief often carries more weight than truth. The culture venerates disruption, worships the miracle, and rewards the visionary. Elizabeth gave them what they wanted. She promised a world where death could be optional, pain obsolete, illness a fleeting memory. She made people feel that by believing they were part of something extraordinary, part of the next great innovation. They were intoxicated by the promise, blinded by the story, unable to see the cracks forming beneath the glittering surface. Theranos was not just a company. It was a mirror reflecting the culture that had created it, a culture obsessed with speed, image, and perception over substance. Confidence became currency. Appearance became more important than achievement. The question stopped being, "Is this real?" and became, "How fast can I invest?" Elizabeth looked the part of the future. She spoke the language of innovation fluently. She made people feel smart, enlightened, even special for believing in her. And in doing so, she exposed the vulnerabilities of a society hungry for miracles. Yet, amidst the chaos and deception, there were those who refused to stay silent. Tyler Schultz, Erica Chung, John Carreyrou, these were the voices that risked everything to defend the truth. They faced ostracism, threats, and immense pressure, yet they persevered. Without their courage, the lie might have endured even longer. More lives might have been ruined. Their quiet insistence reminds us that truth often begins as a whisper, barely audible against the roar of greed and ambition. But whispers grow, and they carry power. Elizabeth Holmes wanted to emulate Steve Jobs, to leave a legacy of innovation and transformation. Instead, she became a cautionary tale, a warning written in the ashes of her own empire. Her story is not solely about one woman. It is about all of us. About how hope unchecked can blind reason. About how the pursuit of miracles can make us ignore reality. Innovation without honesty becomes destruction. Dreams built on lies become nightmares. And as her story fades into history, a haunting question remains. How many more Elizabeth Holmes will rise before we learn that the truth, no matter how slow, no matter how mundane, is always worth more than any dream constructed on deceit? How many times will we mistake charisma for competence, narrative for evidence, hope for reality? The lesson is not just about Elizabeth Holmes. It is about the human tendency to believe what we wish to be true and the cost of that belief when it is misplaced. What do you think really happened here? Stay tuned for our next investigation.